Welcome, everyone, to our Lean Insights webinar. My name is Allison. I work in the marketing department here, and I am joined by Jonathan Fishman today, our CEO, our head of product, Gabe Blanchett, and Rebecca Beasley Cockroft, our principal product manager. So I'm going to let Jonathan take it away.
Wonderful. Thank you, Allison and team, and thanks to this group for coming and being interested in learning more about LeanLaw and Lean Insults. I'm one of the founders and I am the CEO, so we've been doing this a long time. And when I see people kind of coming in and getting showing curiosity around our product, it brings me a lot of joy. We started early on with a mission to help law firms run better businesses. Can we go to the next slide, please? So that was our mission, to help law firms run better businesses, and we do that because we want them to operate smarter in a more profitable way. That's important to us. It's what we think about every day, and how we do that is that we customize QuickBooks Online and we create financial workflow software, and we do so for the mid-sized legal market. And really what that means is we help you manage the full life cycle of your law firm's clients, from intake through timekeeping, fees, expenses, through the draft of the invoice, the approval, delivery, collections, reporting, that full financial life cycle. And we serve all of the users and stakeholders within the law firm. And so what that translates to is just workflow automation. And that could be around invoicing, compensation, retainer management. So that's what we do. Let's move forward, please, Rebecca. Now, what makes us unique in the market? So when you're thinking about this market of folks, I kind of think about two ways to look at it. First is our sort of internal way that we think, and that's the left side of the screen. And everything we do from the very conception of the company was to think through the way that what can we integrate with, what automation can we create, and what are the data opportunities? And it's the cross-section of those three which is really LeanLaw's uniqueness and greatness. And that's completely personified on our QuickBooks integration. We'd be personified, and if you look at what we're calling Lean Align, or Lean Payments solution, and how we will be thinking moving forward. Now, when you look at us from the outside in and say, well, what makes LeanLaw unique relative to the other folks in the playground, and the Clios of the world and whatnot, this first is that we're financially focused. Going back to that mission statement, got to go back a slide, please. Going back to that mission statement, we want to help law firms operate smarter and more profitable businesses. And we think the financial workflows are the most important workflows of any organization. If you can't get your finances right, it kind of doesn't matter how good you are at document management or something else. So we didn't want to be all things to everybody. We wanted to be tightly focused around the financial workflows. Number two, going back to that integration mindset, decided we did not want to be a accounting tool, and rather we felt that Intuit was a best of breed and the preeminent cloud accounting tool. So we didn't add QuickBooks integration as a feature. It is deeply integrated into our workflows to the point that LeanLaw doesn't operate. And what comes out of that is QuickBooks is the source of truth. So if you run a balance sheet, a statement of cash flows, a P&L, it is always continuously updated, and our integration is sophisticated across many different parameters to serve many different disciplines of law, depending on how they want to interact with their financials and their general ledgers. And the last, which is a focus of ours over the last 2-3 years, is being mid-market minded. And really what that means is that, we want to service a client that is, 10 to 100 users. And that doesn't mean we don't have clients that are larger than that. And it doesn't mean that we don't service clients that are smaller. But when we think about the day-to-day operational activity, we think about how can we service this client. And really what that means is we take enterprise-like features, and this webinar is a personification of that, and package them in a way that is addressable to a market, what we call small mid-market, that can't get in other tools of like interest. And that is certainly reporting, but it can be in our compensation tracking, it can be in our accounting. So there's many different facets of what that looks like. Next slide, please. So why do people buy LeanLaw? So I like to kind of phrase this question because I like to have people like, what makes us important? And number one is we aren't practice management. We're financially focused. So our clients are looking for something that is streamlined around their financial workflows. Number two is they're sticking out these enterprise features. What drives people to our platform is certainly our QuickBooks integration, but really when they dig deeper, it's the idea of compensation tracking, our rich reporting, the ease of use, and how that works. And lastly, we make QuickBooks work. So if there's intentionality around and using QuickBooks as a back office accounting platform and realizing all of the opportunities that it creates around payroll, accounts payable, easier staff to hire, using to outsource, all the things that QuickBooks does, we make it work for law firms. And that goes back to that idea of integration, automation, and data. Next slide, please. So this is something that I think about a lot, and it's where the genesis of the company was. We knew we were a workflow company. And the why we knew we needed to be a workflow company is we definitely want to make change, right? We want to help law firms run better businesses. But if you can't get your workflow right, what happens is you get crappy data. And if you get bad data, it's very difficult to get insights and change. And so many times people start on the top of this funnel. I want to make change. I want to do X, Y, or Z. But really, change comes from developing the best practices around your workflows, which generates rich and insightful data that you can glean insights from, that you can then, from that place of knowledge, create change. I mean, this is what's happening in LeanLaw in our company. Everywhere in the organization, we are getting tighter and smarter about data so that we can make data-driven decisions, but it all comes on workflow. What is the workflow that's associated with it? So this is how we think, and much of what you'll see today in insights in this product is because we have the workflow tools that generate the needed data to get to the insights. So hopefully that you can realize the potential of change. Last slide, please. So when we think about the problems we're solving as a company, you can go to the next slide. This is Alicia. She is a client. She is a live, real client of LeanLaw. She works for a mid-sized law firm in Atlanta, Georgia. And in her day-to-day activities and driving essentially the financial operations of the law firm, she might be working with 5, 7 different tools, right? All these different tools. And what's happening is she's having to do work in one tool and then bring work to a second tool and then maybe get a reporting out of a third tool like Excel. And so one of the problems that we're trying to solve, and we are solving, I should say, for Alicia, is to begin to create those really rich automated workflows around trust accounting, around invoicing, around compensation tracking, around these repeated workflows that happen on a monthly basis, and have that manifest into really rich and insightful data that she can help the organization make change, whether that's just the change of understanding collections so they can, understand who owes money and how long it's been aging, understand what performance might be, like what's the write down in a particular client or write down in a particular user, and look at that data, help coach them up. And so that's one of our primary personas that we serve, is someone like Alicia, that firm operator. And what we aspire to do is to, integrate, automate, and create data opportunities out of all these really important workflows. So I just wanted to set this table as we move over. I'm going to hand the baton. And what I'm most proud of is this team. It is no easy task to lift a data-driven product like Lean Insights to bring it to market and do so in a very intelligent and smart way. And this team has been awesome at doing that. So I'm really excited for you guys to hear from them and learn about this product and how it might be of value to you. So I turn it over to Rebecca and Gabe and Allison, and I thank you guys all for your work.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Great, thanks, Jonathan. Great. All right, Gabe, you want to take it away with our overview of reporting, and then I will jump into our demo.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we've got a slide for this, just so so this is a fine place to start. Thank you, Jonathan, for the overview. Hopefully that helps set the table for everybody for what LeanLaw is. As Jonathan spoke to, on top of workflow, on top of data comes insights, and those insights drive change. Insights, the reason that we're calling this area of our product, this set of functionalities that we're going to talk through in depth and demo today, insights, is because it really sits on top of the rich data that already sits in LeanLaw. We'll show how we have a roadmap to integrate data from other sources so that you can, all the functionality we showed today, or much of it, you can integrate across different data sources. But we focus so far on the data within LeanLaw. A lot of when you think about LeanLaw, you realize that clients are there, matters are there, time entries are there, and the most recent time entry on a given matter often represents the current status of that matter, right? It's the best way to understand what's going on with that matter. You've got expenses, you've got fixed fees, therefore you have productivity for every timekeeper in your firm. That's the type of data that LeanLaw has in our servers for your firm. And so to be able to present that back to you in ways that are configurable, in ways that are visual, in ways that help you at a glance understand which clients owe you money, which matters are most lagging, who are your most performant or productive team members, how is that changing over time, what's our realization rate? Those types of questions Lean Insights seeks to give you immediate access to. On top of that, we really understand that data is great in its own regard, and insights is a way to understand that data. But there's a whole other step here, which is making that data actionable and actually driving change. And so we're going to show you today how Lean Insights really starts to up-level your firm's ability to create action from data automatically. So we'll show you how to create triggers and alerts based on data. We'll give you a few examples of that. So this is really, LeanLaw has, since its inception, been really strong at reporting. It's one of the reasons people adopt LeanLaw. It's one of the reasons people love LeanLaw. We see that in surveys, results, and when we talk to our customers each and every day. We wanted to make that even better with Lean Insights. So what Rebecca and I are going to show you today is just a quick overview on kind of what we've had in our product from a reporting standpoint and why customers love that. Then we're going to show advanced reports, which are our first available to all of our customers right now in the product, sort of demonstration of real data-driven insights and creating action from data. And then we're going to show you something that we have in beta right now for our customers. And we've got a handful of customers using this third sort of section here enthusiastically, and that's called custom reporting. So really excited to join everybody on this webinar. Thank you all for joining us this lovely Wednesday. And so let me turn this over to Rebecca. Rebecca is a principal product manager. She's one of the best folks I've ever worked with. And she really has command over how we make our data more insightful, more actionable for our customers. She's been with LeanLaw for about 5 months now. And in that time has been instrumental in helping us bring Lean Insights to our customer base. So really excited to introduce Rebecca, and let's get into it.
Great, thanks, Gabe. All right, I'm just going to switch over my screen share here so we can actually show you some software here. I'm always excited about doing that. And really where I want to start here, Gabe gave a really great overview of the Lean Insights product. And I want to start a little bit with the story of the evolution of LeanLaw's reporting. So as Jonathan mentioned, we started with building these workflows. We were collecting data, and we really wanted to help raise the visibility of that data. And so we've created, and what you're seeing here today is the reports section of LeanLaw's product. And we started with this set of standard reports that we knew users wanted to be able to use. So you can see here, you can go in and see productivity by user. You can see compensation, and that's broken out by user. You can see one of our most popular reports is our WIP build collected report, which shows you what's work in progress, what's been billed, and what have you collected on that. So this was kind of V2 of our reporting foray for customers to really help standardize and surface the information that they needed to understand. And now we've gone through this new evolution into our Lean Insights product. And really what we've learned is there's a set of standard information that every firm is looking for. And then there's a set of information that is specific to your firm. And that might be tweaking an existing report. That might be a completely different type of report that exists. And so really, as we were thinking about the Lean Insights product, we wanted to create something that allows us to provide these best practice reports, but also allows our users to go and build their own reporting so that they can get the information that they're looking for. So what I'm going to show you is Gabe mentioned our advanced reports section. I'm going to show you a little bit in that section and show you some samples of what LeanLaw has put together for our dashboard. And then I'm going to jump into how you could go about building your own reporting based on the LeanLaw data today and potentially with other data sets in the future. So with that, I'm going to jump us into our firm invoice details report. What you'll see here is that we've loaded this dashboard. So this report is designed to give, an operator who's thinking about their billing practices on a regular basis, give them an overview of the status of what's happening with their invoicing. So you've got outstanding balances by age of invoice. So you can see we've got this invoice back in June that's $141,000 outstanding, probably something I should follow up on. We've also got, who are my top clients that I need to follow up with? And, it looks like Boise Public School general client is somebody who's got a pretty high outstanding balance. I probably should think about following up with them. So that's just an easy way to quickly get a visual of this. Now, the nice thing about this also is that you can go in, you can adjust the time period, and you'll see the dashboard will dynamically update. So you've got lots of configurability within the existing dashboards here. And then you can see also we've got tables below that are segmenting if you wanted to drill into the details that you see in the table. I'm going to jump back to this year just so we've got a little bit more of an interesting data set going on. But you also can filter down based on any of the charts. So you'll see the data updates quickly. I can see that Boise Public School General outstanding invoice, and I can see the details of the invoice. So it looks like we sent it in June. It's still open, and nothing's been paid on it. There's no partial payments on it here. So, so that is kind of phase one of what you can do with these dashboards. The second piece is if you wanted to download any of this information, if you've got another process that you're running, you're wanting to use the information in a different way, all of the data for these, and this is most powerful, particularly with the tables, is you can go in and you can download it to CSV or Excel. You can save it as an image. And then the third and really powerful piece about this is that you can set an alert. So if I wanted to go in and say, let's say Rebecca's new alert, because I'm not creative with my titles. But let's say I wanted to see anything that has a balance. Sure, let's go with anything greater than $10,000. And so that's my trigger. That's what's going to send me the information. And then I've got this category. So let's say I wanted to look at it. Actually, I'm going to change the data point. I wanted it to be grouped in a particular way. In this case, I want to group it by a particular client. And then if I wanted to filter it down and say, invoice date is in the last year. So then I can go in, I can filter it, I can customize how I do the alert. And then I've got the option to choose how often I want to see it. Once a day is probably a little bit much, but let's say every 2 weeks, I want to be able to see anytime I've got a client with an outstanding balance over $10,000. And then I want to send myself an email or a Slack message. I'm going to actually create a new channel just so you can see what this looks like. So I can go in, I can, name this Rebecca's outstanding invoice balance email. I can say.
And so Rebecca,
ahead,
for example, here you could add all of the principals or managing partners in the firm for a specific type of alert, or you could add maybe for invoices, outstanding invoices with a balance over $10,000. Maybe it would be You could want to elevate it to the responsible attorneys, all of them, if depending on your firm dynamics. But you could also put everybody on your sort of operations team, everybody working on sort of collections and reminders and stuff like that. So you can sort of, as Rebecca's showing here, you can customize the groups, create specific channels for them, and then create alerts and modify alerts over time, of course, as you get your realization rate up and your outstanding balances down and start operating a little bit more efficiently as a firm. You can adjust these to constantly be sort of leveling up your practices and changing your firm.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's really great. I actually got one of these today from one of the alerts I have set up, which is kind of fun to see. But it's very useful if it's something you want to surface the information on a regular basis, or if it's something you're not thinking about day to day. You know, if you're going through and you have a monthly billing process, and so you're following up on it, you know, as you at the 30th, the 31st, maybe the 5th of the month, you've got a process there. You are kind of losing an opportunity if you're spending 2 weeks waiting to surface this information. These alerts can actually give you the ability to get that information in the moment and be aware of issues that you want to address. A couple of examples, you know, Gabe brought up some really interesting points there, and you know, a couple of examples that we've heard from users about how they want to use this. We've got a report that shows you the time that users are entering, the time entries that they're entering, and if somebody wants to see, hey, I haven't seen any time entries from this particular attorney in the last 2 weeks, rather than having to chase them down when you're going through your billing cycle, that's something you can start to interact with somebody a little bit earlier in the process and say, hey, please make sure you're entering your time regularly, and you can set yourself up for success when you get to that billing cycle that you go through when that data is more frequently happening. So that's one example. Another example is this example of understanding clients who have outstanding balances, making sure you're doing that follow-up. So lots of different use cases that you can use these alerts for. All right, and then we would just click create. Sorry, Gabe, you're gonna get some interesting.
Bring it on. Demo data alerts.
Yeah, you're gonna get some interesting alerts. Yeah, so that gives you kind of an overview of some of the different things that you can do with these dashboards. I'm not going to run through each of these reports individually because they each have kind of different use cases and different types of data, because I really want to spend some time talking a little bit about how you can go in and build reports. But if anyone has any questions about any of these specific dashboards, please feel free. Either you can put it in the chat, or at the end of the webinar, we'll have an email address, and feel free to just shoot us an email, and we're happy to answer those questions.
Awesome. So to reiterate, comments, questions, welcome. We'll address them either in the webinar here or over email after. One thing before we move to custom reporting, which has just some awesome functionality we're excited to show. You know, we think about reporting and the dashboards that we're now able to create and share with customers about the data in their own firm, both in terms of this reports section. Which is this tab on the top. You see reports with the little icon on it, and this is often where operators sort of quarterback a lot of the insights that they need from. It's also where, you know, even a paralegal, for example, who joins the firm, they will have a limited number of reports for many of our customers. You know, there's a lot of permissions and customizability within LeanLaw, but they often will be, if they come to the report section, they're not going to look up, you know, all the invoices sent and whip billed collected across the whole firm. Often firms don't operate with that level of transparency, and frequently for good reason, but they will have rich data about, you know, for example, what Rebecca's showing here, their own time analysis. So they can understand how they're being productive at the firm. And if they're meeting, if they have sort of a quota for a number of hours per week, month, or year, are they on track for that? Are they off track? Should they set an alert? Or as an operator, do you want to set an alert for them based on, you know, have they hit their quota? Are they being as productive as they want to be? So this reports tab has something for everybody in the firm, but the general, you know, in general reports are often, you know, used by operators, managing partners, responsible attorneys, sort of at that level. What the opportunity here, when we think about Lean Insights, we think about the right data presented in the right format at the right time. So alerts are absolutely one great way to surface relevant data at the right time, whatever interval you feel is relevant for the type of data or insight you're looking for. The other opportunity that we're really taking advantage of here is to surface data in meaningful ways in the product. Most attorneys, most paralegals are operating in LeanLaw 5 days a week, sometimes 6 or 7, as we see. But they're operating in LeanLaw all the time because they're entering time entries, they're tracking expenses, they're tracking fixed fees, they're looking up client and matter information. And so we don't want people to have to come to the reports tab always when they want some insights. And so you'll start to see this more and more throughout LeanLaw, but we're able to surface some of these in new and interesting ways in the context of people's existing workflows. And so, Rebecca, if you could navigate to the billing workflow when you're this is the place in LeanLaw where operators and attorneys get the invoices together from all that work in progress, formalize those invoices. You see on that navigation on the left, there's invoice insights. And this is just our first foray into exposing some of this data and insights in the workflows of the product so that people have the data right at their fingertips as they're trying to perform a certain process. In this scenario, it's really around invoicing and collections, really understanding those clients. So I wanted to emphasize that because we don't think of reports and dashboards just as in reports. We think about data at the right data in the right format at the right time, and that can be in your day-to-day workflow.
Yeah, great. Yeah, and that's something that's definitely the direction we're heading in terms of making sure that this is surfaced in key areas to make the information useful to users as they're using it. All right, now I'm going to pivot and we're going to jump into custom report building. And so what you'll see here is a collection of reports that I've built. This is just my view as a user. But what's really powerful about this, and you can see I've got a bunch of different topics here. I've got collections by responsible attorney, I've got client contact information. So depending on what I'm trying to do and what I'm looking to do, there's a lot of power about enabling better process in creating these reports. And so just to give you a little bit of a flavor, what I was thinking in this case is I really want to understand the responsible attorneys and how they're doing with their collections and kind of where they are from an invoicing standpoint. So you can see here, I'm looking at the different responsible attorneys and I can see, okay, Fred is doing really well with invoicing. He's got a lot of outstanding balances, but he's got some payments. And then if you look at me, I'm doing terribly in terms of collections, but I'm kind of moving along in terms of the invoice amount. So that's something where having a view of this, being able to understand and address kind of some issues that you may have in terms of making sure that your firm is fully collecting on the work that you're doing and really getting the value that you are delivering to your clients. This is one way that you could go in and build something that would be useful. This client contact information, this one is actually quite simple. It's just a table. But this is just, if I wanted to be able to see all of the different information about all of the different clients, and I wanted to, one example that we've got was somebody wanted to be able to send holiday cards to all their clients. And so this is a way that I could just go in and easily grab that information, realizing there's not great data in our demo account here.
A lot of demo at userfirstsoftware.com. Yeah.
But this is a kind of a totally different view from that collections by responsible attorney, and just something that can be very useful when you're looking for a specific set of information. So now, go ahead, Gabe.
Rebecca, one thing that as the head of product here, we and our product team, we are always interacting with our customers, trying to figure out what to build. Out of the thousands of feature requests that we get every year, roughly 20 to 30% of them are related to reporting. They're, we love this report, but we want it to have this data as well. we're really looking for a report that is specific to client contact information, for example. So the way that we used to address this is we would, put this in a prioritization bucket against other features that we were considering building at the time. And often it would take, some time, depending on how many clients were asking for a particular thing, to produce this. Now, what Rebecca's showing and is about to show, our users can answer these questions themselves very quickly. They can add a new column to a table to get exactly the data they want when they want it. So this is one of the impetuses for us to really expand the functionality of reports, and specifically custom reports, is to make sure that when you want data, you've got the data that you want presented back to you how you want it.
Yeah, so let's get into how you would go about doing that. I'm gonna launch and kick off our report builder. And so you can see a couple of things. The first thing is, you've got a title for a new dashboard. So let's see, Rebecca's webinar dashboard. Like I said earlier, I'm not creative with titles. You've got the ability to add items, and then you've got this rich set of data that you can choose from. So before we jump fully into that data, I just wanted to highlight, there's a bunch of different data sets that are available that you can go and leverage when you're building these items. So, I click in, and you can click into this and you can see all of the different data points that you can make available and leverage in building the reports that you want. So, if you're looking for a responsible attorney's full name and a matter name, and you want to see it all by practice area, you've got all of those data points at your fingertips with this. So let's jump into how you might actually use this. So when I go to add an item, I've got lots of different options of what I can choose to leverage. So if I wanted to do something more visual, I might look at something like bar charts, column charts, line graphs. There's some pie charts, area graphs, lots of different selections that you can do there. Or if I wanted to get into the details, I might go for a data table. If I wanted a high-level summary, I might go for a number. So I'm just going to grab and throw a couple of different elements in here so you can see as I'm clicking through these, I'm just adding data. Let's throw a filter in there for fun and a number. So I've just thrown a bunch of different items into this dashboard. And as you can see, I can go and drag and drop those around. I can rearrange them. I can resize them. So if you're worried about the visuals specifically, you can go in and configure that. Sometimes you're really going to care about the visual depending on the audience. Sometimes you just want to be able to see information. So this gives you the ability to focus or not on that, depending on what you want to do. And then let's see. So I talked a little bit about doing responsible. Let's do a practice area and responsible attorney full name. And then let's do client name and matter name. And you're seeing kind of as I'm going that we're getting data populated in this table. And so I'm starting to see, and this is going to give me a ton of details, but I'm starting to see this is the practice area, this is the responsible attorney, this is the client name, and this is what the specific matter is. So in, I don't know, a minute, 30 seconds, I was able to surface this information in the table, and then you can go in and say, okay, great, what I really want to understand, let's look at the balance by responsible attorney and just see what that outstanding balance looks like. And then you can go in and see, and you've got this visual that's available to you. So you can use this in lots of different ways, and actually really excited about the creativity that we see from our users as they go and build these, because there are lots of different interesting ways that you can make information visible. And so that's something I'm most excited about. But one of the ways that we've been able to use this is actually we've proactively built a QBR view. So if you're looking and trying to do kind of an overall quarterly business review of kind of the state of your firm, we can give you the ability to build something that pulls in that data and shows you that information. And so this is kind of one of the ways that we see being able to leverage this. especially, it's October now, folks are probably getting ready to do some annual planning if they're on kind of a January to December calendar. And so now being able to understand what is the state of your business and looking at what do you want to focus on? How do you want to evolve your business over the next year? This is a really great way to get an overview of where your firm stands, so that you can draw conclusions based on data and really take actions based on that data.
Rebecca, it might be helpful to elevate just a few other anecdotes over how we're seeing firms use this, and specifically how operators and sometimes firm principals, depending on the size of the firm, are thinking about using this. And we've started to see some of that creativity in our beta. So I can go over a few, but fundamentally, you're helping individuals at the firm be more productive, more aware of their practices. You're helping operators and operations teams, essentially get invoices out, get paid, collect on those invoices, get paid, and operate the firm more efficiently. And then you're seeing often in mid-sized firms, operators using custom reporting to elevate the key metrics and the key data to the managing partners, to the responsible attorneys, so that they can be a more trusted sort of advisor versus someone who generates Excel reports when asked. They can start to put together real-time dashboards that help answer those questions for managing partners and for responsible attorneys and everybody in the firm, really. And so we're starting to see some really great use cases. We've got one firm that's where the operator has put together a few dashboards that are on the television in the office, and so just kind of tracking key performance indicators for the firm, for everybody to see. You can also do that specifically for managing partners. We've got a few beta users who are using this at the individual attorney level and giving those individual attorneys, they basically partner with those individual attorneys, say, what is the most important information that you want to see and how do you want to see it? Create these dashboards for those individuals specifically. And so, well, maybe I'm segueing us right into the ability to share these. So
Yep.
Sorry if I've stolen a bit of thunder there, Rebecca, but maybe we should touch on that, you're not creating these dashboards just for yourself. You're really creating them to be shared and to be used by your firm, and sometimes even by external, your accounting firm, other professional services firms that you might work with, et cetera. And in an interesting use case, maybe eventually your clients themselves.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that was a really great segue, Gabe. As you were speaking, I was thinking we need to cover the sharing functionality here.
Yeah, so core to it.
So one of the things that's really powerful, and this is where, thinking about the visual or not becomes important, is, we've also created the way you can go in and share, and you can kind of select who do you want to share these with. And then I can add, this is a firm overview dashboard. And so then I can go ahead and I can share that with Gabe. And then in Gabe's view of LeanLaw, he will now have a report and shared reports that will show him what I've just built and pushed over to him. So he can regularly access and use that as well. So if there's something where attorneys are constantly coming with a similar question of, one example that we hear is, I want to understand the overall health of my clients. And that's something where you can easily leverage building one report and then pushing it out to individual attorneys and have it filter to those individual attorneys so that you can answer that question easily and even get to a place where instead of spending time responding to that attorney's request, an operator can spend time making sure that they're scaling the business by making that information available to all of the attorneys. So we've seen that already. We've got several users who are sharing these reports. Sometimes they're more focused on kind of the health of the business, and they've got a monthly process where they're tracking all of the activities that are happening and kind of locking that down at the end of the month. And they want to be able to share that with several other members of their team. We've got other scenarios where you've got an accountant who is really looking to be able to make information easily available to the managing partner. And so what they're doing is they're going in and building a report specifically for that managing partner so that they can access that and have that at their fingertips on a regular basis. So lots of different use cases about sharing. But really, when we thought about this, we thought, this doesn't only need to work for one user. We really want users to be able to share and raise the visibility to the right people in the right moments, and make sure that access to that information is available. We are coming up on time, so I think I'm gonna cut us off there because Gabe and I could talk about this for hours. But just wanted to kind of wrap this up a little bit, that you've had a great overview of our Lean Insights product and LeanLaw overall. And I'm going to, as promised, I want to just share contact information if that's something that you are interested in, have further follow-up questions, feel free to contact us. And let me get that up on the screen. And then just want to spend some time answering questions.
Yeah, so we'll be monitoring the Q&A here in the webinar as well as the chat. If anybody has any questions, please do please do message us right now. If you are an existing LeanLaw client and you would like access to custom reporting, please do email product@myleanlaw.com. We are open to a few more firms joining the beta program for custom reporting. And if you're an existing client, then you should be aware, there have been some pointers in the application for you to go check out advanced reports, but please do check those out, start using them in your daily, weekly, and monthly workflows. That's what they're designed for. And feedback welcome. We would love to hear from you. So product@myleanlaw.com on how you're using advanced reports. If you're not yet a LeanLaw customer, please check out that sample dashboard there. That'll get you hands-on with a custom report or with an advanced report that I think you can really get a sense of the power of that and the flexibility in there. Also, email us with any questions. If you would like a demo of either our reporting capabilities or the whole application, let us know. We'd be thrilled to find time to make time to show you more of LeanLaw. We're always looking for, well, we can't take 1 million at a time, but we're always looking for new customers, people who want a financially focused, workflow oriented tool that isn't sort of an all-in-one solution that does nothing maybe really wonderfully, but tries to cover every base. That's not us. We are financially focused. We're disciplined about that. And that is why operators, attorneys, and small to mid-sized law firms love using LeanLaw. So please reach out if you'd like a demo or of reporting or of the entire LeanLaw application.
And then my last push is if you have feedback for us, if you think this looks useful, if you would like to see something different, also please feel free to reach out to us. Our product has evolved based on the feedback we've got from our users and the market in general. And so if there's specific feedback that you have, we'd love to hear it. So with that, just happy to jump in with some questions. I know there's a common question that I see coming through, one of which is about, how easy is it to use this report builder? And what I will say is, the first step is really getting familiar with some of the basics, and we do a training about that, just so we can get you understanding how do you go about building things. The next step is learning the data sets. And so kind of learning and understanding what is the right data that you want to look at. And so we've got data dictionaries available for that. And then the last step is actually playing with it and getting to know it. And what I found, once you get over steps 1 and 2, just actually building a dashboard becomes very easy. You saw me working with it pretty quickly in the demo earlier. But that is kind of, I've gone through steps 1 and steps 2, and now I understand the basics of how to build it. I understand the data. Once I've got those 2 pieces in, then actually building reports becomes something that you can do very quickly.
Another question that we get gotten a fair number of times is, we as a firm work with an outside accounting firm or an outside sort of management consulting firm that helps small or mid-sized law firms operate more effectively. And so we've in our beta, we do have not just law firms themselves, but also the professional services firms they work with. And we're starting to see some really interesting interplay between the two, where the professional services firms and the accounting firms can really augment the visibility of the data, the insights, and even help firms set up these triggers. And so if we've built this so that firm operators themselves can use it, but some firms want to leverage their existing relationships with their accounting firms, with management consulting or law firm consulting firms, to really put this on steroids and to build some of these dashboards that either they don't have time to build, or they don't know what they want. So just understanding that this is a tool meant to be used by all stakeholders for a law firm, not just you have to build the reports yourself. If you have a relationship with an accounting firm, professional services firm, they can also help you navigate this. And often they're frequently trying to join the beta as quickly as possible, because they see how they can use this not just with one client, one of their clients, but multiple clients.
Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome.
Right.
I think
Well,
we can. Yeah, go ahead.
Time. I was going to say we are at time, so I wanted to thank everyone for joining us. It was really great to get to share Lean Insights with you. You've got our contact information, and we are recording this. And Allison, correct me if I'm wrong, but we will also send out the recording as a follow-up from the webinar, so that you can watch it with more depth, or you can share it with others if that's something you'd like to do. So
Yes.
Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday. Go ahead, Allison.
Oh, I was going to say, yes, we're sending an email out for everyone. You can forward it. We'll also put it on YouTube, so you can share the link if you have other people that might be interested in learning more about it. And yeah, thank you for coming.
Yeah, great turnout. Great to see some familiar names on there, but many not. Thank you all for joining.